Have you ever wanted to know what it was really like during a major historical event, like the American Revolution or the Civil Rights Movement? Historians don't use time machines to find out. Instead, they study something called sources, clues that help us understand the past. In this video, we are going to explore two important types of historical evidence: primary sources and secondary sources. You'll learn what they are, how they're different, and how you already use them without even realizing it. By the end, you'll be able to spot these types of sources like a true historian. First, what exactly is a source in social studies? A source is any piece of information that helps us learn about something that happened in the past. Historians use these sources to ask questions, find evidence, and build an understanding of events, people, or cultures. Sources come in many forms: letters, books, speeches, photos, maps, newspaper articles, videos, and even interviews. But not all sources are the same. They fall into two main categories: primary sources and secondary sources. Let's break them down. What are primary sources? A primary source is a first-hand account. That means it was created by someone who was there when the event happened. Think of a primary source as a front-row seat to history. It gives you direct evidence from someone who saw or experienced the event. Here are some examples of primary sources: a diary written by a soldier in the Revolutionary War, a photograph of Martin Luther King Jr. giving a speech, a video of the moon landing, a letter from a pioneer traveling west, a newspaper printed the day after the Titanic sank. These are all examples of people recording what they saw, heard, or felt in the moment. Primary sources are important because they give us a close-up view of history, but they also have limits. One person's point of view might not tell the full story. That's why historians compare many sources to get a clearer picture. What are secondary sources? A secondary source is created after an event has happened by someone who wasn't there. These sources are usually based on research from primary sources. Think of a secondary source as a summary or explanation. It helps us understand what happened by combining many pieces of evidence. Here are some examples: a biography about Harriet Tubman, a textbook chapter on World War II, a documentary about the Great Depression, an encyclopedia entry about ancient Egypt, a kid-friendly history podcast. These sources help explain the past by using facts, analysis, and sometimes even opinions. They're useful for learning about the bigger picture. Historians often use secondary sources to gather background knowledge and look at different perspectives. Primary versus secondary sources. What's the difference? Let's compare primary and secondary sources side by side. A primary source is a first-hand account, and a secondary source is a second-hand explanation. A primary source is created at the time of the event, while a secondary source is created after the event. Primary sources are personal, direct, and original, while secondary sources are summarized, researched, and interpreted. Examples of primary sources include diaries, speeches, and letters, while examples of secondary sources are textbooks, biographies, and articles. Here's a fun example. Let's say you find a journal from a child who lived during the Dust Bowl in the 1930s. That's a primary source. If someone today writes a book explaining the Dust Bowl and includes quotes from that journal, that's a secondary source. Both are valuable, but they serve different purposes. Let's try a quick challenge. Is it primary or secondary? Number 1, a photograph taken during a protest. Number 2, a YouTube video explaining the Boston Tea Party. Number 3, a letter from George Washington. Number 4, a social studies textbook. Ready for the answers? Number 1 is a primary source. Number 2 is a secondary source. Number 3 is a primary source. Number 4 is a secondary source. How did you do? Becoming a history detective. You might not realize it, but you already use these skills. Every time you ask questions, compare sources, or think about where information comes from, you're thinking like a historian. Here are a few tips to help you become a history detective in your own research. 1. Ask who created the source. Were they there? Is it firsthand or secondhand? 2. Look at when it was made. Was it during the event or many years later? 3. Think about the purpose. Was it to inform, to persuade, or to tell a personal story? Number 4, compare different sources. Use more than one to get a fuller picture. You can even practice this in everyday life. Did you hear something on the news? That's a secondary source. Did someone post a photo from an event they attended? That could be a primary source. Let's wrap up what we've learned. Primary sources are original, first-hand accounts of an event. Secondary sources are interpretations or summaries made later. Historians and students use both to learn about the past. Now it's your turn. Think about a topic in history that interests you. What kinds of primary and secondary sources could you find out about it? You might write your thoughts in your journal, create a source scavenger hunt, or ask your teacher if you can explore both types in your next assignment. History isn't just about memorizing facts. It's about finding clues, asking questions, and discovering stories. And you're already on your way to becoming a great history detective.